Hey y'all, and welcome back to a new video of a game that I played not too recently, but recently enough that I can still analyze it properly, where I managed to scrape out a win from a losing position, and I'm going to show you how I did it, how you can use these ideas in your games as well, and how to, like the title says, win from a worse position. Either way, my opponent goes with d4, and I decide to play this move knight f6. This is a line that I play pretty constantly. This is trying to get into the Nimzo-Indian. After c4, e6, knight here, and bishop b4, this is the Nimzo-Indian. This is the opening I'm always trying to play because I love it so much and I have a lot of theory. My opponent decides to play the Trapowski attack, bishop g5, which is the opening that I play against this with white. And it's a little ridiculous because I haven't... I don't think I've ever. It's very rare for people to play the Trapowski, first of all, because it's just not a very common opening. Many people say it's bad, and it's kind of interesting. And when I play, there's no one that knows any of the theory. So what I do here, I know what I'm doing. I like this move h6 here because I get some worse positions there with white sometimes. And sometimes it's very interesting. So bishop f6, ef6. My opponent goes c4, of course. And I strike in the center with this move d5, which is in fact the best move. It's a very strange move because it allows his knight to develop quickly, but I thought it was very interesting. I don't really have much theory against the Trapowski, which is not the best. I probably should, but either way. My opponent takes, of course. It seems very natural to take. I don't realize any other move that makes any sense. Maybe e3, but I don't know why you'd allow me to play d5 then. Takes, and his idea, of course, is e3, and he's just waiting for a second, and he's going to bring the knight out to c3 and hit my queen, which makes a lot of sense. What I could do right now, and what I don't do, is I could play queen d8, and this is the top engine move, not a move that's very, very human. This move is actually like ridiculously confusing as why it's the best move, because it feels like, okay, knight c3, I go bishop, probably like, I don't know, maybe c6 or something, defending this, and I don't know, he just develops normally, and I'm worse, right? I'm just worse. It's a different type of game, but I was just like, okay, what am I doing? I don't really like that. So I decided, okay, I'm going to force the issue, I'm going to force knight c3. And I'm going to play my idea against that when he plays knight c3. I was going to play his move bishop e4 check. And this is why I played d5 in the first place, because I wanted to develop my bishop like this. Knight c3, of course. Now this bishop pin has to stay alive, because my queen would be hanging if it isn't. I just castle, which I thought was very natural. Simply taking away this check from the queen, because there's an interesting tactic here. If I, actually a6 would be good there. Interesting tactic here. After check, like knight c6, he can sack the queen in some lines, which is interesting. And for example, knight c2 would lose the game. After knight c7 here takes, and actually both knights are trapped, but at the end of the day I'm down a piece, which is a little funny. Anyway, there's some interesting tactics there, and I just didn't want to be a part of any of them, so I just decided to castle, and my opponent goes knight f3. Again, very, very reasonable, very, very reasonable move, developing the knight. This is what beginners are taught to do. The knights before bishops, he's playing everything pretty correctly, and I go rook e8. Again, fixing my development. I'm okay, I'm putting pressure on his king, and we're coming here. The worst position is going to arrive very, very slowly. This isn't the races, isn't like a chess entertainment channel, so we're gonna be going through everything. We're gonna be trying to analyze everything. All right. So don't click away. That's my point. My opponent goes bishop e2, and I go c5. A very common move in many of these lines. Now I want knight c6, and I want to take, and I might want to take. I might want to take at some point. It basically just pressures the center and makes it unable for him to do much. Another thing that I'm doing, I'm just keeping the tension. Like, I don't care that my queen is being hit because there's not really any tactics against that. My opponent castles, and now I take on c3. Because if I didn't, now my queen actually is hanging because there's no pin anymore. So I realize I take on c3 and I play knight c6. pretty much finishing my development. My bishop is still like undeveloped, but it's fine. It really doesn't have to be developed right away. c4, queen d6, and my opponent goes d5. And as you can see, just from the looks of this position, black is much worse. Black is much worse because of a couple of things. Black is much worse because white has the center, first of all. Black has some ways to circumvent that, but white also has this nice open file to hit the b pawn, and white is able to get his bishop active like this, maybe like this, some line, and my bishop doesn't really have that many good squares. Like this square, and this square are all blocked. f5 probably could be taken care of with e4 very quickly, and it's pretty easy to say that my position is worse, and now we're going to try and fight back. I go knight e5. Very normal move. We always want to go forward. We know we're worse. And I knew I was worse here, but I have to play actively. If I can't just fall over and die. That's the main thing. We can't just lose and die. We gotta try and win the game. That's all what chess is all about. And with this move knight e5, first of all, if he takes, then I thought that this was kind of an improvement for me after a move like queen e5. My queen is getting some activity. I have b6 coming. I have maybe this on the way. And in reality, it looks like his center pawns are a little weak if he does that. So I thought that knight e5 wasn't a very good idea. And my opponent agreed with me and played a very interesting move, like queen b3, giving me some chances. Now queen b3, it makes sense. Okay, he's not really. He's looking at some pawns over here. He's trying to keep everything together. This is not a huge threat. Actually, the top engine line is this, which is very interesting. After it takes, I have bishop e2 hitting the rook and hitting the knight. And if he just captures the pawn, then I'm able to actually like trap the queen, which is cool. But I didn't see that. And I played the most natural move, I thought. After queen b3, I played b6, which is bad. And yeah, I'm not playing the best. b6 isn't correct, but I still have to keep trying. Now, what I'm doing, I'm trying to open up my light squared bishop. I'm trying to put some pressure. I see one weakness is in position, and that's this pawn. First of all, what you got to do to win a lost position, you have to find the weaknesses, or not a lost position, a worse position. You have to find the weaknesses, like in most positions, and exploit them. And hopefully, white will make a mistake while trying to defend your exploitation. My opponent goes a4. I play a bad move. Again, I go with his bishop a6, which is wrong. And in fact, I'm much worse here. In fact, I'm much worse after knight takes. This is actually really bad after knight takes. And yeah, this isn't doing very well, but he plays a5, which is a miss. He plays a5, and I don't come to my senses just yet. I have to realize that this knight is actually doing some work. Like if he trades like this and brings my queen to the center, then I'm doing a lot worse. What I have to do, I have to take the knight, but I'm kind of messing up, and it's not going too well. After a5, I go rook a b8. Very logical. After it takes, I want to go here, and I want to get some activity for my pieces because I thought that I was much worse at this point, and I am. It's 1.3. But not because of AB. AB still keeps the advantage. Very nice advantage for white. And black is clearly worse because after like rook b6, queen c2. The issue with black's position is that black has this queen side that's really bad. Like this pawn is a huge liability. This pawn is a huge liability. Black has many weaknesses. If I like spend another move here instead of taking on f3. Then I would be in a lot worse position. If I went here, actually knight d2 is the best move now, but like knight e5, fe5. Look at this position. Look how many targets that white has. White has this target, This can be a target. Something like that. Everything is a target. Everything in my position is a target, and it gets really rough here. My b file activity doesn't really matter at this point. Instead, I finally come to my senses and I realize what I meant to do, And I realized, okay, I gotta take his knight. I gotta take his knight. That knight is gonna be a liability for me, because what I realized, okay, that's his best piece. His knight is actually his best piece. He's gonna come back. He might defend. He might bring the knight over here in some lines. This move is coming, of course, and the knight's actually one of his strongest pieces. It can like get into this square, which would be awful. So I just get rid of it. My knight isn't doing very much. It is attacking the pawn, but to what end? If I were to play this move, okay. First of all, knight takes. Second of all, knight e2. The pawn is defended. I'm not able to add any more defenders. I can't do that immediately. So I take the knight. Reasonable stuff. Bishop takes knight, and I play this move rook b4. Now I'm attacking the pawn. I'm forced him to spend some time. He comes back with bishop e2, of course, and I'm like, okay, I think now is the right time. I gotta go rook e b8. High level Stockfish actually says this is the best move, which is nice. Reason being is because I take full control of the b file and I complete my activity of my pieces, which is the full point. And I'm worse, but I have to keep working. I have to keep increasing my activity. That's the main point. That's what you have to do when you're worse. Increase activity, make chances for yourself, and try to win the game. My opponent goes rook fb1. Immediate mistake. He loses all of his health right here. What he had to do is play this move rook a2 first, defend this rank. Reasonable. He has to take a second, and then he can like slowly create some chances. He can bring the rooks on this file in some lines. You can play g3, for example. G3 seems very natural, trying to make left for the king, do all of that. But instead, he keeps these small targets available, and already black is almost better. And the reason why is because white still has some back rank issues. This pawn is finally becoming a weakness, and my pawns are actually not that weak anymore. My c5 pawn is kind of hard for him to target, which is very nice. And I immediately try to bust open the position with this very nice tactic. And what I'm doing here, I realize, okay, what I have to do. What's my worst piece? The bishop. Right, the bishop is the worst piece. The queen has a job to do. The queen is being here, kind of guarding everything. It has a job to do. It's not the worst piece. My bishop isn't doing anything. Look at it. It's staring into nothing. This pawn is defended. I'm not able to add any more attackers. Okay, so what should I do? I should reroute it. But if I move my bishop, now I'm going to lose my a7 pawn. Well, I go bishop c8 anyway. And this is my idea. I want to make chances. For myself. And I realize after bishop c8, I have very nice tactics. He can't take the pawn. Back rank, mate, basically. Bishop d1. I'm up a rook. And I win in that line. And the line that he goes for, I had a very nice idea for. And I had to calculate this. I had to realize, okay, I have to try and win this position. I don't think I'm actually worse anymore because I've done a good job of creating activity for my pieces. And my opponent goes rook b4, cb, and that's the cool point. Most people would be inclined to go rook b4. Because what it does, it continues being active. It tries to keep everything going, but it's a large mistake because first of all, rook a7, the pawn is still hanging. We have to remember that. I can sack a pawn here. And after cb, which is the best move, very nice move. Very happy about this move. Now my pawn is 3 squares away from promotion, and I get tactics. Also, the pawn is on the light square, so bishop c8 made even more sense because now my bishop is coming here to escort the pawn. My queen is coming here, my bishop is coming here, and I'm almost winning. He has one move that saves the game. Queen a4. I don't even know why it saves the game. I don't even know. Now I go bishop f5, and it looks like I'm a lot better. Slight point. I can't just push. I can, but I don't know why I would allow this. Like bishop e3, for example, he makes a blockade. It seems very bad. I want to keep his pieces tight, so bishop f5 makes the most sense to me, and then b3, b2, b1. Queen a4 is not what he plays. Instead, he falls for it, and he takes the free pawn. Unfortunately for him, I have been keeping up with what I have to do, and I know that I'm much better. I know that I'm going to win this game. The reason why, because of b3, and it's -3, -3 on the board, -3. Queen b2. Unfortunately, I didn't play the best move here. This move isn't the best move because of tactics, and I kind of miss everything. I played move Queen e5, which I thought was very natural. I thought takes, fe, and then I'm just pushing, and I'm going to win, which does happen. What I have to do is play this move bishop f5 first, and then I go like Queen b6, and the position is winning, but it's a little more complicated. Like, for example, if he comes back, I can sack my queen and push, and there's impossible. If he comes back all the way, which seems interesting, now I play Queen e5. Now I skewer him. And if he plays like g3, for example, Queen e5, and it's over, there's not much for him to do. Not much for him to do, basically. That's kind of the point. And it's very nice. Instead, Queen e5, what he has here, and the reason why this isn't the best move, and the reason why this actually blunders a draw, is because after this line happens, Queen e5, my opponent plays bishop d3. This is the line. And after b2, he makes a mistake. Makes a big mistake. What he has to do here is very, very rough. And in all honesty, my position is probably still winning if he does it. Basically, he has to sack the bishop. He just loses the bishop. He has to go like g3, h3, for example, and just lose the bishop. Okay, that's a little hard to do. That's a little hard to do. I don't know how human that is. You go for this line, but it looks like I can stop the pawns, right? Like rook c5, you go c6, I go bishop e4. I mean, okay, this position looks pretty rough. Actually, here's c7. Ugh, that's not good. Yeah, maybe I am worse in there. Either way, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. b2 plays bishop e1, and he loses. He loses because of my idea all the way back when I played the move bishop c8. 21 moves ago, I kind of saw this whole line, which is cool. I kind of saw this whole line, and after bishop e1, I play the move bishop f5, and it's over. It's over. You can't bring the rook back to a1 because I simply take. And after he takes my bishop, well, first he goes e4. He tries to save himself, but that doesn't help. Bishop e4. Nice two bishop sacrifice. Bishop e4, and it's over. It's over. I've won the game. Takes, and I made him. So what I did this game is I got into a worse position out of the opening. Much worse position. I didn't play correctly. And what I had to do was try to activate all my pieces. Most important part. Even at risk of it becoming worse. This was the worst moment of the game. Rook a b8. Bad move. But fortunately for me, I was able to steal my nerves, keep playing actively, and remember to keep playing tactically. I keep putting pressure on him, and slowly he cracks, makes a mistake, makes another mistake, makes a third mistake, and I'm able to win the game. That's what you have to do. That's how you're able to save a lost position. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you found this entertaining, instructive, all of the above. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, do all the normal things YouTubers tell you to do. And yeah, good evening and good night.